Words, Numbers, Lines borrows its title from an artist's book by Bilge Friedlaender from 1977. The exhibition here in Arter is showing the earlier work of Bilge Friedlaender that was never shown in Turkey. So what we are showing here is more of a base of the work that was shown in Turkey before. And so the reason we decided not only to stay with her methods and research that were in the 70s, but going into the early 80s to show a glance from her approaches that would change later on. Staging a posthumous exhibition required us finding strategies to reconnect with the artist and to understand her possible wishes for such an exhibition, such an important exhibition. We were very lucky to have Mira as one of the co-curators in this exhibition, who could not only be the person who knows the artist very well as her daughter, but also provided an access for us to the archive, to the archival material.
Bilge Friedlaender, my mother, came to the US in '58 after she had finished her studies in Turkey at Robert College and Mimar Sinan. So she came to do her advanced degree in painting, and it wasn't until the early 70s, really, that she came into her own as an artist. Later, she abandoned painting, and that period was the early 70s, just before the works, some of the works that we show here in our exhibition. So the period of mid-early 70s was very significant for her. It's a period where she leaves the canvases behind and begins to engage with paper and works on paper, and these very important concepts of the horizon and gravity, and really deeply mathematical, philosophical engagement with the material, but on a very spare level. Works in the exhibition, for instance, linear diagonal mutation, engage with these ideas of the mid-70s, minimalism and post-minimalist approaches. They're very material-centric, but it's especially important, we feel, as she's a woman in this period who actually had some success, but then quietly the rest of her career continued. So it's important for us not only to highlight these works because they're fantastic, but because they show her engagement with these very topical ideas of the period. Mm-hmm. And they really continue onward into today, into today's discourse. So the content of the work, if you allow it, it will come forward, and her engagement with materials is seen not only through cutting and string, but tearing lines, investigating lines in many, many ways. And this continues into the 80s and beyond the works that you see in our show to her production in the later 80s and 90s.
When we started our research, we faced a very large archive with a large amount of work. So it was our point to decide what to focus on. When we decided to focus on this archival material, we had to feel the reaffirmation from the artist. To be able to find that, we started digging the archival material